No.
No.
Oh, okay. I know you were happy I didn't give any answer.
No, we are not. We are not.
You are happy. You're happy. Even if I gave cry, like you wouldn't do it.
We will do it.
Okay. So we started with percentages.
Hey.
We talked about percentage changes last 2 weeks, increase and decrease, profit and loss. Then we came to discounts. We talked about commission, and we talked about simple interest. So any question from the start to simple interest, then we can continue with high purchase, depreciation, and compound interest. Any question? Any other question from the start to simple interest?
No.
No question. Okay, so how many of you solved some examples on your own during the week or during the weekend? How many of you solved some examples on your own? Give me a yes if you solved some examples on your own.
Yes.
Okay. Georgina solved. Michael solved. Who else? Dennis solved. Oh, Dennis didn't solve. Okay. That's nice. Jennifer, Amankwaya Boa. Result solved. Ibrahim, Francesca, Eno solved. Nicholas, Petra. Michael. Okay, Michael solved. Eno solved. I'm waiting for the rest. Amankwaya Boa. Okay. Who else? Petra, no. Ibrahim, no. Okay. Okay. So the most important thing is to practice, okay? If after teaching and doing my acrobatics here on Zoom, you don't... Jennifer, please, can you mute yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So if after doing my acrobatics and everything here, and you don't go on to solve more questions on your own, it will be of no use. Hey, please, who is scribbling on the screen? Okay, thank you for clearing it. Okay, so if after doing all that you don't solve, it will be a cost 90 job. A cost 90 job. So make sure to solve some questions before you go to bed, okay? Math questions. When you are going to bed, you solve some. When you wake up, you solve some. Okay, so those who didn't learn, what were you doing? We would like to know what you were doing. Those who didn't learn, what were you doing? We are waiting for the answers. So you can unmute yourself and talk, or you can type it in the comment section. Okay. Okay, so today we'll be talking about high purchase, depreciation, then compound interest, and a combination of these applications. Please, can you mute yourself, Jennifer? Please, can you mute here for me? Okay, beautiful. Jennifer has muted herself. Beautiful. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. So we'll be talking about high purchase. Okay. Now, high purchase is like the opposite of discount. As in, for discounts, we learned that when the individual is paying on the spot or is buying in bulk, the seller will reduce the price for the person. But for high purchase, when you are buying, you don't pay everything on the spot, or you don't pay everything in full, but you pay something, then you pay the rest in installments. That's monthly installments or yearly installments or something, but it's normally in monthly installments. It's normally in monthly installments. And in this instance, for example, you go and buy a television, okay? The price is 800 Ghana cedis, but you don't have that amount of money with you. So you try and pay maybe 200 Ghana cedis. Then for the 600 Ghana cedis, the seller will say that, oh, I'll be selling this to you, but you use it and pay the amount of money in installments. Okay. So as you'll be paying interest on that amount of money that I'll be paying. So that's what a high purchase is all about. Is that okay? So as for discounts, it helps the buyer to pay less. But for high purchase, the buyer pays more than the normal price. Is that okay? So if it is 800 Ghana cedis, after everything, the high purchase and everything, you'll be paying something like 1,000 or 1,002, or maybe 900 Ghana cedis. It depends on the interest that you'll be paying on. Okay. So that's for high purchase. So the question is, Jones bought a car for 1,000 Ghana cedis. He later put it up for sale for 1,500. He agreed to sell it to Ruby under the following high purchase agreements. That's an initial payment of 20% of the price, and the balance paid at 15% simple interest per annum in 12-month equal installments. Now the question is, calculate the amount paid every month and the total amount Ruby paid for the car. Then the percentage profit Jones made on the cost price of the car. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to do. I found a very simple way of solving these questions without typing and doing a lot of things on the screen. So maybe it will help. So I'm trying this one for today. Then if it doesn't help, another time you do it. You'll use a new something. I hope you can see my full screen with the Excel sheet. Okay, so let's use this for solving questions for now and see how it goes. Okay. Okay, so the question says that Jones bought a car for 1,000 Ghana cedis. So the price of the car is 1,000 Ghana cedis. That's the old price. He sold the car for 1,500 Ghana cedis. So the selling price is 1,500 Ghana cedis. Okay. Now, in Ruby, under the following high purchase agreement, that's an initial payment this car. Is that okay? So initial payment will be equal to 20%. Is that okay? That's 20% of what? The price of the car that he's selling. Then what's the price of the car that he's selling? Anybody who can unmute himself or type it in the chat box for me. What's the price of the car?
1,500.
1,500. Is that okay? That's the price of the car, 1,500. So as simple as that, we have our answer to what? 300. That's 20% of 1,500. You get what? 300. So initial payment that Ruby paid is what? 300 Ghana cedis. So instead of Ruby to pay 1,500 Ghana cedi for the car at that spot, She paid 300 Ghana cedi for the car, and now she will be paying the rest. The balance paid at 15% simple interest per annum in 12 months equal installments. Is that okay? So in 12 months, so every month you pay what? A certain amount of money. That is 15% simple interest. So we'll be calculating for simple interest here to know the interest that what Ruby is paying. And for our simple interest, we know that it is equal to principal times rate times time, right? P RT over what? 100. And as I said last week, the rate is the reason why we are having divided by 100 there. Exactly. The rate is the reason why we are having divided by 100, because the rate is always over 100. Therefore, because of the rate, we are having what? Divided by what? 100. Exactly. So, before we find the simple interest, let's find the amount that is remaining. Is that okay? The amounts remaining to be paid by Ruby. The amounts remaining to be paid. And that will be equal to what? This one, the 1,500. This 1,500 minus what? The initial payment, which is 300. And that will give us what? 1,200 Ghana cedis. I hope you are getting it. Hello? Is anyone confused? Is anyone confused?
Sir, please.
Yes.
Started sharing this thing, the document, and I'm not written on it.
I have not written on the document.
No, mine is not appearing.
Okay, you are using a phone, right?
Sir, please, no laptop.
Laptop. Wow. And it is not appearing. If you can ask your question now.
Sir, please connect your question now. Like what you are teaching. Can you write something down?
I don't get you. Can you write something?
Like what you are writing on the
I don't really get your question. Hello, Jennifer. Can you come again with your question?
like can you write like when you are like if you are teaching, can you write something down like the old price, selling price?
Yeah, you can write it. You can write them down. Okay.
Okay, sir, thanks.
You can write. You can write down. You can take notes.
Sir.
Okay. So as I'm
Sir.
doing it, you'll be writing it down. Okay. So let me go over again. Then we can solve everything from the start. Is that okay? Good. So let's start all over again. Okay, so Jones bought a car for 1,000 Ghana cedis. So the old price, and he later put it out for sale for 1,500. Therefore, the cost price of the car for Jones, let's take it that way. The cost price of the car for Jones is what? 1,000 Ghana cedis. I hope you are there. Good. Now he later put it out for sale for what? 1,500 Ghana cedis. So for Jones, the selling price of the car is what? 1,500 Ghana cedis. Is that okay? And Jones agreed to sell it to Ruby under the following high purchase agreement, which means that Ruby is not having the total amount at the moment. Please, 1 second. Hello. Yeah. Okay, so as I was saying, Ruby is not paying the amount in full. Is that okay? She's not paying the amount in full. Therefore, we are going to have a high purchase agreement. That is an initial 20% payment. Is that okay? So to find our initial 20% payment, it will be equal to 20% of what? The price in which Jones sold the car to Ruby. And the selling price of the car is what? 1,500 Ghana cedis. So the initial price, the initial payment is what? 20% of what? 1,500 Ghana cedis. Is that okay? And that will give us what? 300 Ghana cedis. That's the initial payment of what? 300 Ghana cedis. Now, after that, the balance is paid at 15% simple interest per annum in 12 months equal installments. Is that okay? So Ruby will be paying this amount of money in 12 months. That's for 12 months. If she bought it in January, she'll be paying January, February, March, April, May to what? December. That's 12 months. And when we say per annum for 1 year, is that okay? So the balance at the moment will be what? 1,500, which is the selling price minus the initial payment that she did. That is what? 300 Ghana cedis. Is that okay? The balance is 1,500. That's the selling price of the car minus the initial payment that she did. And that will be equal to 1,200. Is that okay? So this is the amount of money that we will be calculating the interest on. The interest will not affect the initial payment, but it will affect what? The balance. So the question says that, and the balance paid at 15% simple interest. Is that okay? 15% simple interest. 15% simple interest. So our simple interest, let's just use interest so that the formula too will be there. Okay. Our interest is equal to what? Principal times rate times time over 100. And last week I told you that the reason why we are having over 100 is because the rate is always divided by 100. The rate is always by percentage. That is 15% in this instance. Is that okay? So our principal being the balance at the moment. How did I spell balance? My hand is faster. The balance at the moment. Is that okay? That is what? 1,200. So that's our principal at the moment. 1,200. So we'll be having 1,200 times the rate, which is what? 15%, times the time, which is what? 1 year. Now I'm not dividing by 100 because I'm calculating it with what? 15%. Either way, when I solve, I'll get what? 180 Ghana cedis. I can also use this method. That is, simple interest will be equal to what? The principal, that's 1,200, times the rate, that is 15, times the time, that is 1. All divided by what? 100. And I'll still be getting what? 180 Ghana cedis. So the reason why we are having divided by 100 is because of what? The rate, which is what? In percentage. So now we know that our interest is what? 180 Ghana cedis. So that's our simple interest. So the total amount that Ruby will pay Ruby will pay for the car, that's the second question, okay? We have to calculate that one before we can calculate the amount paid every month. So the total amount Ruby will pay for the car will be the balance, which is the principal. Principal plus the interest. Last week I gave you this formula. That is amount A is equal to P plus I. I hope you remember.
Yes.
Good. So amount is equal to what? The principal, which is what? The balance at the moment that we calculated interest on, plus the interest, that's 180. Is that okay? So the amount to be equal to 1,200 let me use figures, then you can go. 1,200 plus what? 180. That would be the amount. And that will give us what? 1,380. Is that okay? So the amount, this is the total amount that Ruby will pay. That's the balance that she will be paying. So amount every month.
Please, I have a question.
Yes, Ethel, welcome.
Yes,
I think this is your
thank
first
you.
time.
Yes, please.
Okay, you can ask the question.
Please, for the total amount paid, the
Hello?
question
Hello, Ethel. Hello.
two.
Ethel, your line is breaking. Can you type it in the chat box for me?
The question is total amount, but what we've got to
Yeah, we will get there. We'll get there.
Yes,
We'll
please.
get there, okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I made a mistake and a slip of tongue there. Okay. That's nice. That's nice noticing that one. Okay. Good one there. So the amount every month that Ruby will pay for the car will be what? Will be equal to the amount that we have found. That's the balance plus the interest. That is 1,380 divided by what? 12 months. Is that okay? Divided by 12 months. So Ruby will be paying 115 Ghana cedis every month. Ruby will be paying 115 Ghana cedis every month. So that's for the A, total amount of the car. Is that okay? So the amount every month will be what? 115 Ghana cedis. Then B, the total amount Ruby paid for the car. Total amount Ruby paid for the car will be equal to, that is the total amount, that's the principal plus the interest, the balance plus the interest that you should be paying. That's 1,380, because she'll be paying this amount in 12 month equal installments. Is that okay? In 12 months equal installment. That's 1,380 plus the initial payment that she did, which is what? 300. Therefore, instead of Ruby paying 1,500 on the spot for the car, with a high purchase, Ruby is paying 1,680 for this in 12 month equal installments. Is that okay? So instead of her to pay this amount, that's 1,500 Ghana cedis for the car, then it will be done. She didn't have money at that time. She paid an initial what? 300 Ghana cedis. Then I have purchase agreement, which is what? 15% simple interest on the balance, and this is the balance. After calculating the simple interest on the balance, we had interest of 180. When we add interest of 180 to our balance, we get what? 1,380. Now, to know the amount she'll be paying every month, that is what? The 1,380 divided by 12. Is that okay? 1,380 divided by 12. Now, to know the total amount will be paid, will be the 1,380 that she's paying in 12-month equal installments, plus the initial payment of what? 300 Ghana cedis. That is what? The total amount will be paid for the car. Any question? Any question?
Sir, please, no.
Okay. So if there is no question, I have a question for you. The C is yours. The percentage profit Jones made on the cost price of the car. The percentage profit Jones made on the cost price of the car. So that is your question. You have 5 minutes to submit. After doing it, you can type it in the chat box. I'll be giving you your yes and the wows. Oh wow, 68%. I like those guys. Can you hear me? Hello, Daniel, can you hear me? Oh, okay. My audio is having some serious sign on it, so I was thinking you were going to hear me. Okay, thank you. Okay, so says 68%. That's nice. The rest, I'm waiting for your answers before we calculate it. Daniel says 68%. That's nice. Oh, okay, Georgina, I'm on fire, boy. Oh, wow. That's nice. Hey, were you having it on speed there? I said 5 minutes and you're giving it to me in 1 minute. Wow, my guys are good. 68%. Nice. Nice one, Rosal, Daniel, Jennifer, Ibrahim.
68.
Ibrahim, your answer, I don't think is correct. You have to come back. Good, Ibrahim, you are back on track. Nice one there, Dennis, nice one there, okay. So let's calculate for that one. So for us to calculate the profit percent, we have to calculate the profit first. Ibrahim, you have your hands up. Any question? Hello, Ibrahim. I think you also new, right? Yeah, Ibrahim is also new. Ibrahim, any question? Okay, I think there's no question. He has muted himself. Okay. So for the profit, we have to find the profit first. And profit will be equal to, let me run the formula here first. Profit will be equal to what? The selling price of the car minus the cost price of the car. Okay. And in this instance, the selling price of the car is not 1,500 again, but 1,680. Is that okay? That is the selling price of the car. The total amount will be paid for the car is the selling price of the car. So we'll be having 1,680 minus what? The cost price of the car, which is what? 1,000. Therefore, it will be equal to 1,680 minus what? 1,000. And that will give you what? 680. That's the profit. So to find the profit percent, profit percent is profit over the cost price times 100. That's profit percent. Profit over the cost price times 100. And we know that our profit is what? 680. Divided by what? The cost price. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. Divided by the cost price. And the cost price is what? 1,000. Then you multiply by what? 100. And that will give us what? 68%. 68%. 68%. Excel is fooling. This is the normal one. 68%. I hope that's right. I hope that's okay. Any question? If no question, give me a no in the comment section and let's continue.
Sir, please no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to know whether using Excel was effective. If it was effective, give me a yes.
Yes.
Okay, nice. Then we can use Excel now. Okay,
Sir, please, yes.
good. Okay, so now let's move to the next topic very fast. Depreciation, which is very easy to understand. Very easy. Yeah. Excel to the whiteboard. Okay, so now let's move on to depreciation. Now, when you buy an item, over time, the value of that item will decrease. And the decrease in the value of that item is called depreciation. So when you buy a phone in 2010 and you use the phone till 2020, which I know some people will be doing, the economists within us, they will be doing. So if you use the phone from 2010 to 2020, you will notice that the value of the phone as at 2010 will not be the same as the value of the phone as at 2020. It will decrease. And that decrease is what you call what? Depreciation. So whenever you hear of depreciation is the decrease in value of a particular item. In accounting, we call it the decrease in value of an asset. The decrease in value of an asset, and an asset is just an item. Okay. So a phone, examples of items that depreciate, we have cars, fridge, phones.
Washing machine.
Thank you. You are there. Okay. So now, when you want to calculate for depreciation, we take the original value to be what? 100%. Therefore, any reduction in the original value will be 100 minus X%. Is that okay? And X being the value that it will be reducing by. So 100 minus what? X%. So that's depreciation for you. The question says, Akwesi bought a radio for 650 Ghana cedis. Let's finish with the 4 questions, and after that I'll move it. Akwesi bought a radio for 650 Ghana cedis. After 1 year, the radio depreciates by 20%. 1, what is the value of the radio after 1 year? And 2, if you sold the radio for 557 Ghana cedis, calculate its profit or loss percent. Okay, so let's calculate for the value of the radio after 1 year. Then after that, you will calculate the loss percent. Okay. So now Akwesi bought the radio for what? 650. So the cost of the radio is equal to 650. The cost of the radio is equal to 650. After 1 year, it depreciates by what? 25%. What is the value of the radio after 1 year? So as I said, we will take the original value, that's the cost of the radio, to be equal to 60%. Okay, 100%, sorry. So the cost of the radio is 100%. Therefore, the reduction or the new value of the radio. Yeah. People are on board and I like it. Now the new value of the radio will be what? 100 minus what? 25%, and that will give us what? 75%. Let me do it so. The new value of the radio will be what? 100 minus 25%. That will give us 75%. So to know the new value of the radio will be equal to, so value of radio after 1 year will be equal to 75% of what? 650. And that will give us 487. That will give us 487 Ghana cedis, 50 pesos. So as you can see, the cost of the radio, let's say in 2015, it was 650. Then in 2016, it depreciates by what? 25%. So the value of the radio in 2016 would be what? 487.50, 487 cedis, 50 pesos. Exactly. Therefore, if you are selling the radio in 2016, you will not be able to sell the radio at 650 Ghana cedis again. But you'll be able to sell the radio at what? 487 cedis, 50 pesos. So that is what? The reduction in what? The value of the radio. Is that okay? So now the next question says that if he sold, the radio for 557 Ghana cedis, calculate his profit or loss percent. And as you already know, this question is yours. I'm waiting in the chat box to give you your wow. Michael, nice answer there for the A. Nice one there. Nice one there, Michael. Nice one there, Lisa, Francesca, Amma, Eno. Beautiful answers. Ethel, Unseen, Art Sign. Regina, nice one. Ethel, Eno. But which one are you finding? Are you finding the profit percent or the loss percent?
Loss.
Loss percent, okay. The rest, add it. Loss or profit? Loss, okay. Petra, 14.3. Loss percent, okay. Okay, so let's solve it. Okay. So now it says profit percent. So we have to either find the profit or the loss. Okay, so profit or loss. Now, we know that the cost of the radio now in 2016 is not 650, but what? 487 cedis, 50 pesos. That is the cost. Nice one there, Drozel. That is the cost price of the what? Radio now. So the cost price of the radio in 2016 is what? 487.5. That is the cost of the radio. Let me use a different color. Okay. The cost of the radio in 2015 is 650, but in 2016, it reduced, that is depreciated by 25%. Therefore, selling the radio for 650 in 2016 is not acceptable. Is that okay? So you have to what? Sell it for what? 487 cedis, 50 pesos. Is that okay? 487 cedis, 50 pesos. Okay, Michael, nice one. So now we will be having a profit or a loss because our new selling price is what? 557 Ghana cedis, and our cost price is 487.5. 487.5. That makes it a profit and not a loss because our selling price is more than what? Our cost price. Is that okay? 557 minus this. And that'll give us what? 69.5. So that's a profit. That's a profit. Therefore, profit percent will be equal to profits over the cost price times 100. And our profit we know here is what? 69.50 divided by the cost price, which is what? 487 cedis, 50 pesos. Is that okay? Then you multiply this by 100. And that will give us what? 14.25. 14.25 or 14.3. Is that okay? So we calculated for the profit percent and not what? The loss percent. Okay, so Jennifer is asking how we got the 557. The 557 is in the question, which says that if he sold the radio for 557 Ghana cedis, calculate his profit or loss percent. Is that okay, Jennifer? Okay, so that's how we get it. So we calculated for what? The profit percent and not what? The loss percent. Any question? Yeah, you get the same answer, but you calculated for loss percentage instead of what? Profit percentage. And that will make your answer wrong and not right. So you have to know what you are calculating for, because the question asked, calculate his profit or loss percent. You use the 650 to find it. Oh, okay, I see. Let's try that. So that will be what? 650 minus 557, which is the selling price, and that will give us 93. Our profit percent will be 93 over the cost price, which will be 650. Times 100. Okay, and that will also give you 14.33. But even though the answer is correct, which is 14.3, 14.3, but the method in which you used is wrong, and that will make your answer wrong. Is that okay? Maybe because of how the figures are and the percentages, it makes them correct. But maybe if you get different figures, you'll be getting a different answer. And you should remember that in maths, we don't mark only the answer. We mark the procedure before you mark the answer too. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you.
That's good. Okay. So any other question? Any other question? Okay. Let's move on. Let's do a combination of these applications first. I did this. Okay, so this question is yours. Ali bought a car for 5,000 Ghana cedis and later sold it at 90% of its original cost. He spent 1,250 out of the amount received and invested the rest at 6% per annum simple interest. Calculate the interest earned in 3 years. So as you can see, this is a combination of a lot of things. Interest is there, increase and decrease is there, selling price, cost price, everything is being inside. So try this question. After you solve it together, then move on to the next thing. Nice answer, Inu. Beautiful one there. Nice answer, Dennis. Welcome to. Hey, Dennis, are you sure of your answer? I'm not seeing you well. Dennis, kindly check your answer again, okay? But it's a nice answer, though. But check. Okay, nice one, Amankwa. Okay. Nice one. Nice one. Okay, nice answers there. I like the way the answers are coming to me privately. I like the way they are coming to me privately. I'm still waiting. You have 3 minutes more. No, 2 minutes. This was not a 3 minutes question. Nice answer, Eto, Amankwa, Dennis, Eno. Nice answers there. The rest, I'm still waiting. Michael, nice answer there. Beautiful one. Okay, so let's solve the question. So the question says, Ali bought a car for 5,000 Ghana cedis and later sold it at 90% of its original price. After he spent 1,250 out of the amount received, he invested the rest at 6% per annum simple interest. Nice answer there, Daniel. You should calculate the interest earned in 3 years. Nice answer there, Petra. Nice ones there. You should calculate the interest earned in 3 years. Okay. So let's pick a new sheet. Okay. So the cost price of the car will be 5,000 Ghana cedis. And he sold it, the selling price is 90% of its original cost price. And we know that the original cost price is what? 5,000. Exactly. So that's the selling price of the car. So now the selling price of the car will be what? 90% of 5,000. And that will give us what? 4,500. That's the selling price of the car. Now after that, he spent 1,250 out of the amount he received. So amount spent will be equal to the selling price, which is what? 4,500 minus we have the amount spent. So what we need to find is the amount remaining after spending. Is that okay? So after spending 1,250 from the 4,500, we'll be getting 4,500 minus 1,250. And that'll give us what? 3,250. So this is the amount remaining, and this is the amount he invested. So we can call this same amount invested. That is what? 3,250. That is what? The amount invested. And this amount that he invested, it's at 6% per annum simple interest. 6% per annum simple interest. Therefore, we have to calculate the interest earned in 3 years. The interest earned in 3 years. Therefore, we have to find our interest, which is what? Principal times rate times time, all over 100. We know that our principal, which is the amount invested, is what? 3,250. It's 3,250 times the rate, which is what, 6%, 6, times the time. We are calculating the interest earned in 3 years, which is 3, all over what? 100. And that'll give us what? 585 Ghana cedis. 500 and what? 85 Ghana cedis. So this is the interest earned in 3 years. Any question? Please, can you mute yourself? Thank you. Any question? Any question? Okay, so if there is no question, we will continue. So let's quickly, yeah. Ibrahim, can you please mute yourself if you are not asking a question? Thank you. Okay, so let's quickly finish compound interest, which is very simple to understand. It's very easy to solve and very, very nice. Okay. Okay, so we have talked about simple interest, and simple interest is the interest on the amount invested. Is that okay? At a particular rate at a particular time. Now, compound interest, for simple interest, it can be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Is that okay? Now, when you are using the simple interest, you don't actually accurately calculate the time value of money. When we talk about the time value of money, we are talking about 1 cedi today is more than 1 cedi tomorrow. For example, yesterday, for a few days now, if we were to pick a car, maybe from Winneba Junction to maybe Kaswa, you will be paying maybe 1 Ghana cedis. Let's take it that way. You'll be paying 1 Ghana cedis. So that's what the value of the money at that time. So from Winneba Junction to Kaswa, for some few days, maybe it is 1 Ghana cedis. I'm not saying it's 1 Ghana cedis. We are using it for example. Exactly. It's 1 Ghana cedis. Now, with the increment in fares and everything, if you are taking a car from Winneba Junction to Kaswa, it won't be the same 1 Ghana cedi by what? Maybe 1 cedi is 50 pesos. Is that okay? 1 cedi, 50 pesos. That will be what? The amount that you are going to be charged. Therefore, if somebody was owing you 1 Ghana cedi last week, and the person gave you that 1 Ghana cedi, and you use this for the car, you know that you'll be paying what? 1 Ghana cedi from Winneba Junction to Kaswa. But if the same person is owing you that 1 Ghana cedi, and the person didn't give it to you last week, but gave it to you this week, and you want to use that same 1 Ghana cedi to pick a car from Winneba Junction to Kaswa, you won't be able to pick that car because you will not be able to get to your destination. Is that okay? That's what you are saying, that 1 Ghana cedi today is more valuable than 1 Ghana cedi tomorrow. That is what? The time value of money. So when somebody is owing you and the person is paying you now, it is better than the person paying you tomorrow. Because the value of the money today will not be the same as the value of the money tomorrow. So when you are calculating for simple interest, and it is in maybe 4 years, 5 years, you know that the interest rate will not be the same maybe for the years, or even if it will be the same, you will not be accurately calculating for the time value of money, because the money that you'll be receiving today, if you are supposed to receive today, will not be the same as the money that you are supposed to receive tomorrow. Is that okay? So compound interest is a measure of time value of money. That is, it measures time value of money accurately. Is that okay? So that's why it is a little bit complicated than simple interest, but it's very easy to solve. Any question? If you didn't understand the concept, let me go over again. If not, let's continue. Any question?
Sir, please go. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening. Okay, let me go over again. I'm having a lot of please go over in my chat box. Let's go. Very good. Okay. So, as I was saying, for simple interest, for simple interest, you just calculate the interest and you just go your way. Exactly. So you just calculate the interest. Maybe you are owing me 5% interest. You'll be paying me maybe next month. Okay. Then you just go away. You'll be paying me maybe in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years. Simple interest. It can be used to calculate it. But the reason why we have compound interest is that simple interest does not accurately calculate the time value of money. Exactly. Now, compound interest involves, let me use this one here. Compound interest involves not only the interest on the amount invested, but also includes the interest on the interest as it is earned over time. Exactly. So it is not only on the interest on the amount invested, but the interest on the interest as it's earned over time. So let me explain the time value of money, then use it to explain this sentence. Then I think we'll be good to go. Okay. Now, as I was saying, someone is owing you 1 Ghana cedi. Is that okay? 1 Ghana cedi. The person is owing you, and the person decided to pay last week, but the person couldn't pay. Now, if you are going to use that 1 cedi to buy maybe, let's say, water, Vortic water, is that okay? If the person should have given you that money, that 1 cedi last week, you could have bought a full Vortic water and drank to your satisfaction. Exactly. So that's the value of 1 cedi last week. Now let's say this week there has been increment in prices of what? Water. And Vortic water now doesn't sell for 1 cedi again, but 1 cedi 20 pesos. Therefore, if the person who is owing you pays you the 1 cedi last week, you'll be able to buy 1 bottle of Vortic water. But if the person gives you that 1 cedi this week, then the Vortic water will cost 1 cedi 20 pesos and not 1 cedi. Therefore, the value of that 1 cedi has what? Reduced. Last week, you could use it to buy what? 1 Vortic water. But this week, you are only using that 1 cedi to buy what? Maybe biscuits. You can't buy Vortic water unless you add what? 20 pesos. So that's what the time value of money. That's money received yesterday has much value than money received what today. So 1 cedi received yesterday will be less, will be more in value than 1 cedi received today. Is that okay? For example, if you are going to school, okay, and you pick a car, now from your place to the school is maybe 5 Ghana cedis. 5 Ghana cedis. Now, you pick the car every day, 5 cedi. Now, one day you just sat in the car and the mate is telling that it's 5 cedis 40 pesos or 5 cedis 50 pesos and not 5 cedi. So you realize that the value of that 5 cedi, all the time that you pick the car, it has changed. Is that okay? Now you can't use that same 5 cedi to pick the car to school, but you have to add more money to it. Is that okay? Therefore, the 5 cedi yesterday was more valuable than the 5 cedi was today. So that's what the time value of money. So compound interest here, it involves not only the interest on the amount invested, but it also includes the interest on the interest as it is earned. So maybe you invest 5,000 at a rate of 10%. Interest will be what? 500. Now, that is for what? 1 year. Now, in another year, if you are entering into another year, you know that at that time in the second year, you will not be having only 5,000 Ghana cedis in your account. No, you have gotten an interest of what? 500. Therefore, the money in your account is what? 5,500 and not just what? 5,000. Is that okay? And not just 5,000, because the money in your account now is not 5,000 again, but 5,500. Therefore, in the second year, when you are calculating for the interest, you not calculate the interest on the previous 5,000, which is the amount that you have there, but you calculate the interest on the 5,500 that you are having. Okay, so let's pick an example. Okay, so let's just do it here. So you invest 5,000 or you deposit 5,000 in the bank, and they tell you that the amount that you are depositing is 10%. Is that okay? It's 10% interest. So in the first year, 10%. Oh, also 10% of 5,000 will give you what? 500. Is that okay? To give you 500. Now, in the second year, now you haven't retrieved your money. Your money is still with the bank. That means that in the first year, you have what? 500 additional more money. Therefore, in the second year, your amount in your account will not be just 5,000, but 5,000 plus what? The 500 interest that you have received. That is your money now and not for the bank. Is that okay? So for the second year, you'll be calculating 10%, not on the 5,000 Ghana cedis, but on the new amount, which is 5,500. And the interest in the second year will give you what? 550. Is that okay? If we should, in the second year, we should have calculated it on the 5,000. We will still be getting an interest of what? 500 and not what? 550. But you see that the interest has what? Increased to what? 50. Now in the third year, the money in your account will not be 5,500, but it will be what? Let's use this one. It will be what? 5,500 plus 550. And that will give us what? 6,050. Therefore, the interest in the third year will not be 5,500. We will not calculate it on the 5,500, but calculate it on what? The 6,050. And the interest in the third year will give us what? 6,005 and not what? 550. Therefore, amounts to be paid if you are retrieving your money in the third year. Yeah, time is included. Time is included. Time is included. Very, very included. Is that okay? When dealing with compound interest, time is very included. It's very inclusive. Is that okay? Just that most of the time it is 1, 1, 1, 1. So you know every number times 1 is the number itself. So it doesn't really count, but time is included. So the amount at the end of the third year will be what? Your amount, which is what? Your 5,000 initially, plus the interest that you have accrued over time, which is what? 605. Exactly. Now let's pick a question, then we can understand this one better. Exactly. By any question up to this point? Any question? Okay, the formula, we have a formula there. Let's just continue. I'll get back to you on that one. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so let's pick this question. It says that find the amount at the end of 4 years if 5,000 Ghana cedis is invested at 5% per annum at 1, simple interest, and 2, compound interest. So we are going to do 2 things here. You guys are going to do the simple interest, then I will do the compound interest, okay? So very fast, do the simple interest for me, then let's know the amount for the simple interest at the end of the 4th year. At the end of the 4th year. Okay, so using simple interest, the amount. Are you sure 1,000 is the amount? I said find the amount. The interest is the 1,000, right? So amount is 6,000. Amount is equal to the principal, which is what? 5,000 plus the interest. That's 6,000. Is that okay? So take note of that very well. So that is what? Simple interest. Simple interest, you are getting amount of what? 6,000. Take note of this one too. Okay. Now let's use compound interest now. Now for compound interest, we pick the first one, which is what? We pick it year by year. Okay, pick it year by year. So for compound interest, we'll be having what? Our first year. And for our first year, we'll be having what? 5%, right? 5% of the amount is what? 5,000 times 1 year. Is that okay? Times 1 year. That's why normally the 1 is not there. Is that okay? And that'll give us what? 250 for the first year. 250 for the first year. Now amount for first year. Amount for first year will be equal to what? The principal, which is 5,000 plus 250. And that will give us what? 5,250. Let me put the principal here. That will give us what? 5,250. Now for the second year, our interest will be equal to 5%. That's the same rate of, and now it is not what? 5,000 anymore, but what? Our amount in the bank account right now is what? 5,250. Then times 1, that's the year. Is that okay? And that will give us what? 262.50. Therefore, amount for second year will be equal to. Yeah, was somebody calling? Amount for second year will be equal to what? Amount for the first year plus the second year interest. And that will give us what? 5,512.50. Is that okay? So instead of having the same 5,000 over and over again, we add the interest to the amount and we get what? 5,250. So this is what? Our amount now. I'm making all the amounts with green. I'm marking all of them with green. Is that okay? This is our amount now. So now this is what we are using. We calculate interest on that one. Let me put the formula there. Then second year will be 5% of 5,250 times 1 year. Then for the third year, the interest will be 5% of now, which is what 5512.50 times the 1 year. Is that okay? Times the 1 year. And that will be equal to 5% of. That will give us 275.625. So our amount for the third year will be equal to the amount for the second year plus the interest for the third year. And that'll give us what? 5788.13. So that's what the amount for the third year. Now we are finding for what? 4 years. So it's left with the fourth year. That's the interest for the fourth year will be 5% of 5788.13 times 1, which is 1 year. That okay, and that will give us 5% of this one. And that's giving us an interest of what? 289.406. 289.40 or 289.41. Is that okay? In CD terms. When I finish, I'll change everything to CD terms. Okay. So that's it. Now the amount at the end of the fourth year will be equal to this amount plus the interest at the end of the fourth year. And that'll give us what? 6,077.53 Ghana cedis. Is that okay? Is that okay? So looking at these two, one second. Hello? Yeah. Moment. Me try the correct word. Anawaba. Me try the. Why me? Oh, okay. Oh, the me is here. Okay, so the amount for the fourth year is what? 6,077.53. But look at the simple interest. The amount for the fourth year is 6,000, which means that if you use simple interest to calculate, you will not be accounting for what? This 77 Ghana cedis, 53 pesos. I hope you see the difference now. So to know the compound interest, that's the interest alone and not the compound interest. That's the interest alone. Is that okay? To know the interest alone, which is the compound interest, at the end of the fourth year will be equal to this interest at the first year plus second year interest plus the third year interest plus the fourth year interest will give us what? Our compound interest. Now looking at it very well, our simple interest is what? 1,000 Ghana cedis, but our compound interest is what? 1,077 Ghana cedis. So that's the difference between simple interest and compound interest. When we say that compound interest take into consideration what? The time value of money. Any question? Any question? Okay. Any other person to support Georgina? Any question?
Please, no.
Okay, nice. So we can continue. So let's quickly look at the compound interest formula. Let's quickly look at the compound interest formula, then we can close for the day. Okay, so for compound interest, calculating for just 4 years, as you can see, we have done it very simply there. But if you are taking a loan for 10 years in the bank, and the bank is supposed to calculate compound interest on your loan, and every time they are doing this one way thing, it will be something else. Okay, so a very simple formula and very chewable formula has been set aside for you, which is A is equal to P into bracket 1 plus R over 100 all raised to the power n. Is that okay? And the R over 100 is because it is the rate. It is the rate. So the rate is what? 100%. So over 100%. A is the amount at the end of the period. P is the principal. Then N is the number of period. N is the number of period. Okay. N is the number of period. So with this formula, let's use this formula to solve. This question is yours. It's an assignment. Let's use it to solve the first one. Find the interest on 5,000 for 5 years at the rate of 5%, compounded half yearly. Compounded half yearly. Okay. Compounded half yearly. So as we know, our compound interest formula is equal to that's amount, the amount that we'll be finding. It is equal to the principal into brackets 1 plus R over 100 all raised to the power n. So let's look for our variables, and it will be simple to solve. So we know that we are finding for what? Our A. That's what we are finding. We know that our R is equal to what? Let's check the question. That's what? Rate of 5%. So our R is 5%. Our P is what? 5,000 Ghana cedis. That's the principal. 5,000 Ghana cedis. Then our N says that what? 5 years. 5 years. By looking at the question critically, it says that it is compounded half yearly. Half yearly, which means that the N is not a full 1 year in this question, but what? A half year. Therefore, to get the N to make a full 1 year, we will multiply the N by 2. Is that okay? Since it is half year, we also solve our compound interest questions in 1 year. Is that okay? Per annum, 1 year. So if you see half year, quarter year, whatever year, you do what? You find the 1 year equivalent of that number of years that you have been given. Is that okay? Okay. So now with our variable set, our formula is what? A is equal to P into brackets. A is equal to P into brackets 1 plus R%. That's R over 100. Is that okay? 1 plus R over 100. All raised to the power n. Let me see if I can get the superscript. Okay, so this is our formula. And now we know that our P is what? 5,000. And we are multiplying that one. We will be multiplying this one by 1 plus R. So let's just find that one first. So 1 plus R, which is what? 5%. All raised to the power n. I think this one, let me see if I put equal to sign to give. interest. Okay. So we are raising this one to the power n. That would be, one second, let's switch to the board for this one. I haven't done this one. So let's switch to the board for this one. Okay. Let's do it here. Annotate. Okay. Okay, so we are having our P to be equal to what? 5,000. We are having our R to be equal to what? 5%. We are having our N to be equal to what? 5 times 2, which because it is what? Compounded half yearly. Then we are having our A to be equal to question mark. Okay, so now what we need to do is to insert it there. So A is equal to P into brackets 1 plus R over 100 all raised to the power n. Is that okay? So our A will be equal to P, which is what? 5,000 into brackets 1 plus 5 over 100 all raised to the power n. And least I forget, since we are compounding half yearly, the rate too will be divided by 2. Is that okay? Our rate will be divided by 2 since it is compounded half yearly. Is that okay? So our rate will be divided by 2, which is 5 divided by 2, which will give us 2.5. You are not getting the concept, you'll get it very soon. Exactly. We'll use it to solve a full question, then you get it. Okay. Then let's use it to solve a full question. This one first. Then I'll give that one to you as an assignment. Okay, so let's solve this one, which is a straightforward question. Okay. Let's solve this one, which is a straightforward question. We are finding the compound interest A is equal to P into brackets 1 plus R over 100 all raised to the power n. Is that okay? We are finding the compound interest. Now, our amounts will be equal to P, which is what? 400 Ghana cedis into brackets 1 plus our R, which is what? 5%, 5 over 100 all raised to the power n, which is what? 5 years. Is that okay? N, which is 5 years. N, which is 5 years. So our A will be equal to, now what you need to do is to find 5 over 100 plus 1 raised to the power what? 5. Function that in our calculator, we'll be having 1 plus 5 over 100 raised to the power 5. And that will give us 400 times 1.28 to give us 1.276, and that's approximately 1.28. Is that okay? So our amount will be equal to 400 by this answer, and that will give us what? 510.51. So this is our amount. Is that okay? This is our amount. Therefore, compound interest will be equal to our amount minus our principal. And we know that our amount is what? 510.51. And our principal is what? 400. So 510.51 minus 400. And that will give us what? 110.51. So this is what? Our compound interest. Any question? Michael, do you now see top?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Aha. So the first one, it was a little because of the compounded half yearly. Okay. So let's do that one very quickly, then we'll close for the day. Our time is fast spent. Is that okay? So that one is what? P, which is what? 5,000 times 1 plus R. You know it is compounded half yearly. Therefore, we will divide what our rate by 2. That's 2.5 over 100. Then times the time. You know, the rate is divided by 2, but the time is an increasing something. So it's from first month to the 6th month, from the 6th month to the 12th month. Is that okay? So from 1 to 6, 6 to 12, then another 1 to 6, 6 to 12 for 5 years, and that will give us what? 10 in total. Is that okay? So that will give us raised to the power 10 and not raised to the power 5. So solving that one, we'll be getting 5,000 into brackets. Now we have to find our 1 plus 2.5 over 100. And that will be giving us 1.025 raised to the power 10 will give us 1.28. So 5,000 by 1.28 will give us what? 6,400.422. That's 0.42. So this is our amount at the end of what? The 5th year using compound interest. Therefore, our compound interest will be equal to what? 6,400.42. That's our amount minus our principal, which is what? 5,000. And that will be giving us 1400.42. Or Adeloy. Yes, I'm correct. Any question? Any question? So that's compound interest using the formula and using the normal method. Okay, using the formula and using the normal method. That's how you calculate for your compound interest. That's how you calculate for your compound interest. Any question? Any other question? Which one is easier? I mean, I will love the formula because I can just punch it in my calculator and go my way. Okay. So you just have to know your principal, your rate, and your number of years, and that's all. You get your amount. You subtract your amount from your principal, then you get your compound interest. When you go home, you can use the other method to find these two, and you see that you'll be getting approximately the same answer. Is that okay? So, I mean, I would love to use the formula because if it is an objective question, yeah, approximately that's some points. We're getting points. You know, using the calculator will be different from using your normal calculations because calculator it will run off some of the points, but the normal calculation you will not be running off. You'll be using it like that. So sometimes it will change by 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, but it will be the same thing. And if it is an objective question, you don't need to solve everything on the question paper before you answer it. I normally say that mathematics come out objective question. I think either from question 1 to question 20. From question 1 to question 20, that one is always a calculator. Is that okay? I think from is it 22 going that you'll be using circle theorems and the rest. That one you can still use the calculator if you have the theorems in your head and you can use your head to maneuver through it. Is that okay? You should take us through that time from question 1 to 20. Oh, okay. That one, it's all about mastering your calculator. Yeah, because logarithm and the rest, they're all on the calculator. a simultaneous equation is on the calculator. So if you get a simultaneous equation and an objective question, you don't need to solve everything again. You just have to what? Punch it on your calculator, then you go your way. So for elective math students, for instance, for objectives, what should you use your head? You just have to point in your calculator with the concept in mind, and that's all. You are good to go. Okay, Michael is asking, if the expression is quarter, will you divide or multiply? Yeah, if it is quarter, you divide and multiply by 4. Is that okay? If it is quarter, you divide and multiply by 4. Because it is half, we were doing the 2. If it is quarter, you'll be doing the 4. If it is 3/4, you'll be doing the 3/4. Okay. So that's it. As simple as that, compound matrix. It's not difficult, It's not difficult. It's very, very simple. Okay, so thank you very much for today. I think I've given out an assignment. I said go and use the normal way instead of the calculations to do this ones. Then you will see the results, okay? And we have another question here. A trader deposited 10,000 Ghana cedi in a bank at 9% per annum compound interest in 5 years. If the trader withdraws 6,000 at the end of the third year, find the amount at the end of the 5th year. So try your hands on this one. Next week when we start, I think we will solve this one very fast. Then move on to a different topic. Thank you very much.